Oh, that first scene. I mean, it was
Hmm.
gross.
Yeah,
So
the reason why I almost
I
didn't.
wasn't expecting that. It also was a weird form for Pennywise to take. So there's that.
So weird. I almost didn't finish a show because of that. Like I stopped watching at that point because I was like, I don't understand what this is, and so I turned it off. And then I'm realizing now, like it's Pennywise taking different forms. But at first, I was like, this is a weird ass baby. So we start with in the movies, and get introduced. Like I won't go scene by scene as much, but like whenever we introduce characters, I'll try to. So we start in the movies. We meet Maddie, who this is also the reason why I watch this show is because of this, like the season 1 to season 2 switch. I mean, episode 1 and episode 2 switch. So we see Maddie, who's one of the main characters. He's on the flyer of the show, and he's sneaking in the movies, and he gets caught by this bellhop in the movie theater, and he gets let go by Veronica Grogan to Little Ronnie and her dad Hank Grogan, and he loves movies. They love movies. They're a black. He's a widower. They're a black family that lives with their grandma in what seems to be the
Did you
projects of Derry.
know Hank Grogan and the white woman that he was with are supposed to be 62 years old?
They're both supposed to be 62 years old in that. Oh, yeah, because of the timing.
They're both supposed to be 62 years old.
I could see him being 62.
62 with like a 9-year old?
Men, yeah. What age was a mom? You know, like back then, older men married younger women.
Oh, okay.
Do I
Neither one
think
of them
it's? Do
looked
I
like
think they?
62-year-olds to me.
But I don't know. Does he have to be 62, or could the white woman just have been 62?
No, he was 62 because he said it on his
Mm,
when they we'll get to it, but when they thought he was dead and they were putting
mm-hmm,
his file away,
mm.
on his file it said age 62.
Yeah, they were. I mean, and a little bit of the show, I think, is them being like, "Look, we're doing our best. We're trying to recreate the past, and we already know the future. So what are you gonna do?" But yeah, so we meet Hank. Hank ends up being a central dumbass throughout the rest of the season. Veronica ends up being a heroine throughout the rest of the season, and Maddie is set up to be one of the kids that we follow the rest of the season. And so we find out that like he comes from such a bad home that he's kind of a runaway, and like people don't even take pity on him, and so he decides to hitchhike because he's in the snow, basically no shoes, damn near, and he's trying to figure out how to get wherever he's going. And a family that looks nice enough picks him up, but the family's basically on weird vibes, and through that is how we manifest the first Pennywise. So he thinks he's leaving Derry, and he ends up the car drives back around to Derry, and this demon baby comes out, and we think that it kills him or whatever, and that's the opening scene. And I genuinely was like, what is this show? So again, if you start it there and people are telling you to watch a show and then you were like, what am I doing? um Keep going past that. So that's how we meet Maddie, and Maddie had some friends basically who at school are curious and looking for him. So I actually, okay, I'm gonna use this I'm gonna be somewhat chronological, because that way we won't forget where we went. Then they enter these Air Force vets or the Air Force pilots who just got back from Korea, and it's Paulie Russo and Leroy Hanlon. Leroy Hanlon is going to be Will Hanlon's dad and Mike Hanlon's granddad. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And we find out that they're here on a special mission, but they don't know much about it yet. And so Leroy Hanlon's kind of given that's his daddy. Noted. That's his daddy, and he's kind of giving like sexy Carl Winslow because he has a handlebar mustache. And so we're gonna go between like what's happening at the Navy at
How are
the
you a
Air Force base.
zaddy if you're 35 years old? What
It's
is
not
the
about
what is the
age.
requirements?
It's about energy.
No, it
You
has
have
to
to have the
be age.
energy.
Age has to be part of it.
He's not 35. Is he my age?
Yes, he's 35 years old. You
How can
can't
you
be
give
a
me
zaddy at 35 years old.
Zaddy is like, if you're a Zaddy who's my age, it's because I don't know you in real life. So it's just like I'm just putting you up there with them other fine men I like to look at. Like you're a Zaddy.
I
you're
can't be
but
like, oh,
Zaddies are.
this woman has cougar energy. She's 26. That sounds
You
ridiculous.
can. But you can though if she's giving cougar energy. It's like auntie could be I'm an auntie technically, or auntie is like what people call 6-year-olds. Like auntie is a it depends on where you're at when you say it, but it doesn't change the fact that a lot auntie is a big thing.
Okay,
Anyways, that
okay, that's fair. So you can't call somebody 35 years old as zaddy. That person needs to be older than you.
he is older than me.
No, significantly older than you.
All right. He's that's a fine man. He's looking like a
I have to
sexy
establish some rules because I'm not going to
No, you
play
don't.
the soundbite when it doesn't apply.
You don't have to understand zaddy. Just know that when it's a feeling.
Okay.
So anyway, we're gonna have stuff that happens at the military base because apparently that shit has a lot to do with everything, and then we're gonna have stuff that happens at the with the kids at home, and then shit that happens at the school. So the other thing that happens at the school, and I'm going to go in more detail about the pilot, and then going to zip through more of this stuff later, because I think the first episode is so funny. This is what got me. So we meet some of Matt's friends, and they're kind of like friends but not really close friends because they all hang out, but like because Maddie was kind of poor and like not well taken care of. He wasn't always a part of the group. And so there's Teddy who's looking out for him, and Phil who's really like wasn't really friends with Maddie, and is like, okay, who cares? And they have this hangout I want to call it the bird's nest, and that's not what they call it, but they have this hangout where they go and hide out, and we find that Maddie had taken this girl named Lily there, and Lily had spent time in a mental institution because when Lily's dad worked at a factory, and he forgot his coat. So he ran back into the factory, and somebody needed help with something. So he said, "Sure, I'll help you." And so the story is that he climbed into a machine and got eaten up by the machine. And the joke, the urban
They
legend
turned him
is
into a
that
jar of pickles.
the urban legend is that he got spliced up and separated into jars of pickles all over, like not just one jar of pickles, but like just like there's pieces of him in multiple jars. And so that's why they hide pickles in her locker. First of all, Lily and her mama need to be somewhere benefiting off of that class action suit. Are you for real? You die in a machine at work and we're not getting a paycheck off of that?
It was malpractice. He shouldn't have been up there.
I don't malpractice. It doesn't. That's for doctors.
I mean, no, not malpractice. That's the wrong word. He shouldn't have been up there.
You said incompetent. Well, somebody did something wrong, but my point is that we're not living in squalor after that. Like that, there's a check coming there, and that goes back to like the sign of the times where it's the 50s and women don't have those like that. I don't know, unruliness to be like, hey, give me my money for my trouble, but I guess she can't handle it, which who the fuck could? And so she spends time in a mental institution, and that like looms over her. So people call her crazy, and they make fun of her, and they leave pickles in her locker. And so there's a setup for what we think could be like the OG losers club, right? Because you have these kids who are really like not really friends with anyone else. They're kind of outcasts, and they care about each other, but like they're trying to be cool.
They are the monsters. Little, like,
that's what they call themselves, right? And this time. Thank you. And then there's like this side group of like cool girls that are
patty cakes.
Don't leave it to me because I'll be looking at these little girls like I would have ate her up. Like what? Like the people we deem cool is so funny when you think back to school and like the power we give people, and you look at them now, you're like, if you don't tell that little blonde girl to take her bob and get up out your face. But anyway, so they're bullies and frenemies with Lily, because after Lily went into the mental asylum, she doesn't she comes back and like nothing is the same. And there's her friend Susie is
Marge.
No, that's Susie is Phil's sister.
Marge.
Who's the
Marge?
Thank you, Marge. I thought you said Barb at first. I'm like, I don't remember Barbara. So Marge is Lily's friend who's trying to stay with her in the patty cakes. And there's a scene that happens later where she tries to like set Lily up to get embarrassed. And so Marge has, for the first like quarter of the season, has this like conscious conscious crisis where she's trying to figure out where she fits in and she wants to stay with Patty. Like Patty's causing her to be really mean, like bringing the worst out of her. So that kind of is like that would be a big deal if this was Degrassi, but because this is Pennywise, that's like a C-D plot at best. And so we find that basically Pennywise is starting to use all the things that have traumatized these kids' families as ways to scare them. So Pennywise at one point goes to Veronica's house, for example, and turns into her mother who died in childbirth, giving her like birthing her. He goes to Teddy's house, and when his dad tells him this story about how their ancestors were skinned and alive and concentration camps and turned into human lamps, he has a nightmare that night about the lamp, human face in the lamp. Lily, sorry, I'm not messing his names up on purpose. Lily has like a waking nightmare about her dad and talking to her from the pickle jar. So again, this trauma is what Pennywise is using to scare all of them, and we know it's Pennywise, although we don't see him until like 3 or 4 episodes in. So for the most part and then the pilot is when I think the family gets there. They might get there in the 2nd episode. So we don't meet Mike Hanlon until later. But these are the initial kids. And so they are trying to look for Maddie. And Lily hears Maddie's voice in the drain, which is another like OG thing from the books and from the movies where Pennywise uses the sewers to talk to kids and lure them in and scare them. And
all
so
the
that
kids
makes her
in
think
Derry hear the voices in the drains, but some of them just don't pay no attention to it.
Don't pay attention to it. Some of them are like, look, I got homework. Yeah, you do hear like the whispering at some point in lunch. Like if you listen in, people be like, I heard so-and-so, I heard so-and-so. But like, I don't know, are they just like too cool to pay attention to it? You have to wonder. But like, yeah, he's trying to lure them all in, and that's canon. So Lily's convinced that Maddie's still alive, and they're like, well, let's go to the movie theater where he was last seen. And so Veronica's like, y'all, Veronica was the last person who saw him, because she's the one who like helped him get away when he was running out of the movie theater. Because she's the last one who saw him, they go to her and she's like, fuck it, I'll help y'all. So she lets him in because her dad's a projectionist, and she's able to they play the movie that Maddie was singing through the pipes. And through that, they see Maddie on screen, and Maddie reaches out to them, and he's holding a baby. And I'm sure there's significance to it. It's like the Music Man, and I didn't care enough to look that up. I'm sure it's a very significant thing. I know I've heard of it. But he's carrying a baby. He's in the movie, and he walks up to the screen and throws like the baby swaddle out, and it's the demon baby. And the demon baby starts fucking these kids up. The demon baby kills Phil, kills Teddy, kills poor little Susie, and only Lily and Veronica make it out alive.
Pennywise.
And the demon baby as Pennywise as the demon baby, yes. Because even Pennywise is a version of the Pennywise is to demon baby, but the real thing is the alien. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm calling it different things. And
or just call it
it. So it fucks all them kids up. Them kids die. This is what hooked me, is that so if you looked at the show and the lead up for the show, the flyer was Phil, Teddy, I think Lily, definitely Lily, Maddie, maybe Ronnie. Those were the kids on the flyer of the show up until then. Did you recognize, Brandon, that on the 2nd episode they changed the kids out on the flyer because all them kids had died?
Yes, they Ned Starked you.
Iconic. They didn't just Ned Stark you though. I've never seen like a show be like, just kidding, those kids are dead, and then just like use a new flyer. Like the flyer, it's like a very genius.
They did that on another show we watched. They did that on Silo, but on season 1 of Silo, because the whole thing was what's her name? Quincy Jones's daughter. It was like Quincy Jones' daughter, Rashida Jones, and the black dude were like all over the posters and stuff of the show as the leads. And then after the 1st episode, they just gone. And it's Rebecca Ferguson and all the other people in the show for the rest of the season.
We love it. We love a switch up. By the way, did you? I saw him on a podcast once, and he said that his mom passed away before he could see him in Selma. That's so sad.
Whose mom?
David Adebayo.
Oh, that's that guy's name.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that sad?
That's a little sad.
She had sacrificed so much for him to be a. Oh, hold on. His name is David. Nope, that's a real estate agent. Actor. David Oyelowo. Oyelowo. I apologize. No, I messed that up. That wasn't a mispronunciation though, because I'm African American. That was just memory. Okay, so that is a pilot. That cracked me up. By the end of it, I was like, all right, let's watch what Pennywise is gonna do. Now, my transformation throughout the season, Brandon, is that I didn't really give a fuck about like it. I was never, ever, ever on Pennywise's side. I'm like Pennywise, the movies, chapter 1, chapter 2. I'm like, fuck Pennywise, let's kill this thing. He's so scary. I hate him. Losers Club
so
it is, right? Like
so
I
you were a normal person.
I was a normal person.
Okay.
Something has happened with Welcome to Derry where we are cheering Pennywise on.
Who's cheering Pennywise?
I don't think you.
What do you mean we?
That's why we have to have a discussion. No, it's so okay. If I send you threads, will you look at what I send you? Because I have so many to send you.
I don't have threads, but I'll find a way to look.
You do have threads through your other Instagram. You don't even know it.
Oh, okay.
But could I tag you on there?
No, I didn't know. I don't even have the app.
That's hilarious. So it's okay, yeah. So I just have to like screenshot and show you. Like people be like, oh, somebody posted. It was like a hand, and somebody was like, Pennywise, come back and finish your food and quit getting up and playing. And it's like they just think he is so funny. And so I think
he is funny, but he was funny in the movies.
Yeah,
nobody was rooting for him.
But he's funny, and like he's funny, like, oh, I kind of fuck with him now, and I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. So
hold on, no, okay. You can't gloss over this. What are people rooting for?
I'm gonna come back to it. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you when it comes up. Don't worry, because there's moments where you're like, oh fuck, and then there's moments where you're like, this is funny as shit.
Pennywise is the ultimate villain in the show because he's in a town full of racist ass white people, and he decides he want to eat children. People. No, not the black. I don't care about the black adults because some of the black adults is trash too. He decided he want to eat the kids. He got all them, crazy. And his whole thing. And it's not that they're bad. They are bad, but it's not that they're bad. It's that Pennywise's whole thing is, I need you to have a certain amount of fear before you taste good to me, and like once you get that fear levels up, then you taste like a great ribeye. Like you're the best ribeye I've ever had, right? And so then racism is driven by fear. A lot of the times it's driven by fear.
Right.
Exactly. And so those people are the most afraid. You can have the best dinners every night in parts of Derry if you wanted to. But no, you want to go fuck with kids. How does anybody root for that, particularly black people? I'm questioning the people that you are following. Are you following Candace Owens? Is that part of your algorithm?
No, shut up. It's regular old black folks, pro-black folks who just think this is hilarious. Also, again, if you came here for like really like validated, verified, we read the book's commentary, I've already messed up because the showrunner is Andy Muschietti, who also was the director of the It movies, the revamp, and he directed the Flash movie, the extended universe movie. Yeah, that's crazy. And he's like Buenos Aires. He's Argentinian. So
what else did he direct? Hopefully something better than that.
Well, he did the two It's. He did the movie. He did the Scarlett Johansson movie, Mama.
Oh, okay. So I'm not going to blame him for the Flash then. There we go. There.
Oh, I lied. No, he didn't do that. It was a short film with the same name. Anyway, I bring that up though to say, like, I know they didn't think black people would embrace this the way they did because they were just like, yeah, let's just keep doing the guy. And now black people are all over. Anyway, so this goes on to, like Brandon says, and as people on threads are saying, racism is the scariest part of this show. Welcome to Derry is scary, not because of Pennywise, even though Pennywise is jump scary. It's because racism is so crazy. And so after the attack in the movie theater, they're like, well, if the kids didn't do it, then it must have been Hank Grogan because the daughter let them into the projection room. And for some reason, they don't blame any other people who work there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that.
Yeah.
As a starting point for an investigation, I think you could get there without being racist. Like, why are these people? Why are these kids in the person who has the keys to the building? Somehow these kids get into the one movie theater where this is the only person got the keys to the building to get in. Like, that's where I would start. That's where I would start the investigation. I'd be like, okay, let me start there.
Valid.
But then after that, they have no evidence for this guy at all.
And they need something.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great point. Also, with that said, though, I don't know that they investigated everyone with keys. Like, it's no way just this one black man owns a movie theater. You know what I'm saying? So like,
but the movie was playing, like, so you would assume the projectionist would be the one playing the movie.
Okay, I'll give them that. But you're right. After that, it's just like a runaway investigation. And the other thing is like, there's this big debate. I tried to make it a bigger debate because I posted on Threads that like, I think the Stranger Kids things would have wrapped this up. And people were like, what? Half of them would have died, or it's not fair. You got to compare 80s to 80s. And I'm like, okay, but I think it's a great thought exercise. And it's very similar because the police here are also like, there's nothing supernatural. We don't know. And you have the same kind of the kids racing against the clock because the police won't listen to them. But the reason why Stranger Things, I think, is bar none, is because one, they at some point had the chief of police on their side, but two, they had parents who immediately believed them. So it's like having parents who immediately are like, all right, I'm just going to investigate this because you said it. Like eventually Leroy gets there, but like that's why Stranger Things, sorry, the last thing I want to say to compare them is that it gets me hyped because they always
find your people in the chat, you know.
What they say? Hi guys. What is Kayla McCoy? What you say? I can't see it because of this thing.
Nah, Loki, we rooting for Pusha P. See, these are your people.
Kayla, I hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the chat. Thank you. It's because I'm hosting and I have this thing set up and I can't see the chat.
These are your people.
They are. I'm telling you, you're gonna be one of us by the end of this. Okay, so Stranger Things, like, because I'm almost done with season 4 right now. I'm about to push through so we can watch it next week when the shit finishes. So, what happens is like, when you have people believing you and starting to do theory sooner than later, that's when you get a 2016 Losers Club type thing, right? When you have the research and you have the people who are like, look, I don't know, but as long as you show me a little bit, I'm gonna go with you. Like, you have people who were kind of helping their friends before they saw the proof in the pudding. And that's why I think like the Hawkins kids are a little bit more compelling. And then they have this thing where like all the groups work together and it all comes together in the end. And I know that's like convenient writing, but like the parents will be doing something, the kids will be doing something, the teens will be doing something, somebody else over here will be doing something, and eventually they'll sync up and be like, oh shit, you did this, you did that, they form a Ultron. No, what's it called, the big thing in what's it called when the Power Rangers get together? Megazord. See, I was gonna say Megatron. I knew that was wrong. They form a Megazord and they get the job done. That's how Stranger Things just happens. That's the only way they've been successful the first 3 seasons. This is like they never get on the same page. Like maybe a little bit, but they never get on the same page. And that's why they actually should not have won, but we will get into that later. So yeah, they blame Hank. The white people are sitting on his car, sitting on his house. The grandma's like, fuck, I've been through this before. It's 1950 something. We're not gonna get out of this good.
Dapper Don is in the chat and he's saying Pennywise was getting jiggy.
Brandon.
Petty Gear says that Dan Step almost took me out. Did y'all watch the movies? He did all this stuff in the movies.
It was different because it was in the context of this being a black show. Because the movies, like, racism was a thing, but when you do anything in America's in the 50s, you're just comfortable and like, this is all racist. We don't like, you know, like how if you move past certain times in history, white people are like, I don't know if it was racist. Are you sure? But we can all just agree this is a racist time in America and we don't have to argue
even
about
racist
that.
White people today say they were racist back then.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like in the 50s, we can all just be like, look, this was all Klan type stuff. There's a, if you, at the very end, I noticed on the street sign where the Paul Bunyan birthplace thing is, there was like a League for White Civility or something. Like that's what the Klan called itself in Derry. So yeah, like
the Butcher was the head of it. Kirsch's husband, who Grogan was fucking.
Yeah. Oh, spoiler alert.
By the way, that actress is actually 67 years old in real life, which she did not look 67 to me.
Hey, milk ages as it ages. Okay, so
that woman did not look 67. That woman looked like she was in her 40s. And
she was great.
And by the way, so they had to age him up because the actor that played Grogan is like 45. Because they weren't about to tell me
he looked 45.
They weren't about to tell me this 45-year-old man was risking it all in 1962 to go fuck a 67-year-old woman.
I don't believe that. I believe that there were indeed 40-year-old men. As long as there's been time and as long as there's been heterosexual sex, there's been people risking it at any age.
Yeah, I'm not risking fucking a white woman.
Hey.
For a 67-year-old white woman.
No one would have risked it do you understand how crazy it is to risk it? It's illegal.
No, a lot of people risked it. Like in Sinners. If it's Haley Steinfeld, sure. Not a 67-year-old white woman.
Right, but that's what you're missing. That's what I'm trying to say. If you risk it at all, you're liable to do I'll believe whatever you tell me about the details because you risked it as if there's not any. And mind you, maybe there's like no other Black widows in town, but like, bro, that's when you pick up and move or just abandon your family. Don't do that. A lot more people chose to abandon their family back then than they did that. They just moved to Chicago. Okay. So the police chief, you know his name, Clint Bowers, and he's granddaddy to the Bowers bully in it in the in chapter.
I don't know his name. I don't know his first name.
Oh, you knew all the other names, so I just really thought you just were Rolodex.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know the Bowers kid's first name.
Yeah, I forgot it too. Everybody's Hank in my mind. Okay, so he he's an asshole, but he's doing his level best, but barely, and he's also I know this is fiction, but it feels very grounded in reality that the police chief is also in the Klan. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really seem like.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was not in the Klan.
He was cool with him. He was affiliated. You agree? He's affiliated.
What happened? Because there's no spoilers because we're talking about the whole season. What happened was he was telling the racist people, like, I don't want to say the real racist, but the more racist people, hey, dog, there ain't no evidence that this dude did anything. I don't know what you want me to do. Mm-hmm. And they was like, you need to do something. And he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. And so he goes to talks to Grogan to try to get him to like almost tell the truth. Like, dog, I know you wasn't at fucking home because I seen your fucking, like, nobody else in this nobody else in the city would be smoking these fucking cigarettes. He
dropped his cigarettes like bro.
Like a dummy. Yes. Because nobody else was drinking their fucking cigarettes. Habit. So he's like, I know you weren't, I know you wasn't at home. Slims. So now you lying. So tell me where you was at. But obviously he can't tell him where he was at because he was fucking a white woman. A
married woman whose husband happens to be the head of the local clan.
Yes. But the police chief, he's trying to either get evidence to, even if it's manufactured, to lock his ass up or prove that he didn't do it so they can stop pressuring him to make it happen. And
he's like, I'm closing this case one way or the other.
Yeah, either way. If I got a lie to cose it or if he didn't do it and I can prove that. I'm tired of y'all pressuring me for something I can't control. And then because of Leroy's wife, I forget her name.
Chelsea.
Charlotte. Yeah, because of Charlotte, she, she's with the shits. She got all the connections. She about to get this nigga out. Then the politicians in Derry was like, oh, you can't even get this black dude like locked up. Well, we don't need you no more. And at that point, he was like, look, man, my whole reputation is this shit unless we do something. And so then he was like, I'm still white, so let me go fuck with the Klan. That's what happened.
And that's affiliated. You went through all that to just say to agree with me, because if I get into trouble, I'm not calling the local gang like, can y'all beat them up? Because they don't know me, I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? So if you can go, if all you got to do is go get a Miller Lite with the bros and they're going to ride on the people after that, y'all knew each other previously. So anyway, and not to mention I guess it's not yet illegal, but like this is clearly not Jim Crow. It's just something like we're in the North, right? So like it's clearly not legal to be Klan, and he knows who they are and they are not arrested. So that's kind of what I'm getting to anyway. But people talk about how like the police in the country started from like slave catchers and people who are enforcing legality and not morality, and I think that's very true. And this movie this show reflects that. So just to go back a little bit, because we jumped into Charlotte, but we get introduced to the police chief who goes through what Brandon just said. He don't want to hear what nobody's saying. He's gonna stop the process if he can. I don't even think Miranda had happened yet. So I think Miranda's in the 90s actually. How old is Miranda? Anyway, he's like, look, I don't give a fuck about due process. All I know is I got him locked up and he lied to me, so that's all we care about. And then we see that Will Hanlon.
You know the weird thing here though? If I was playing the 50, I feel like even in 1962, the crime for fucking a white woman is less than murder of kids.
And here's where they had you with the fuck shit. And I agree with you, right? Exactly. Why is that worse? But clearly Klan rules still apply because he knows he's not going to make it to sunrise and no one's going to go after them for that murder because they're going to do Klan justice over legal justice. So that's
unless
why
he gets sent to jail and then he got the boys to back him.
But then you in Shawshank and they in there committing SA. That Shawshank is famously.
But when he goes to Shawshank, he can have some protection.
Do the black gangs protect the booties too?
They protect you from the Klan.
Yeah.
Did you watch Oz?
I don't know if you want to get in. No, I'm talking about Shawshank Redemption, the movie, nigga.
I'm talking about jail.
I don't know. I'm talking about the Stephen King universe. You're bringing too much. You're bringing in Oz. You bring it in.
That's right.
I actually didn't watch that, and I know you recapped that on another podcast.
You shouldn't watch it.
So I won't be. Don't worry. Okay. So going back to, he is afraid because again, the Klan is being like, it's permissible for them to do the stuff they're doing. Everyone knows they operate. They turn a blind eye, and every once in a while, people even jump in if they feel like it. And this is actually, I want to save a little bit more of the Klan talk to the end because I think that's where the emotions really came up for watchers, for the people who are enjoying in the show. So we find that like Leroy Hanlon had already gotten to the base. He's this super fly, pilot. His wife and his son finally meet him. Will Hanlon, who looks like the nerdiest, cutest little boy. You have not seen him off of the show. On Instagram, that nigga is rocking diamond chains. He is such a YN. It made me so happy to like, you forget that these kids are Will, the actor, is iced out in real life. Doing TikToks, and then you see him here, and you're like, little, like he's such a good actor that you forget he's actually some little guy who's not that actor. That boy, you think he's just this nerdy little son who. So Will's whole thing with his dad is like his dad's, fucking Top Gun basically, and he's freaking SpongeBob, right? Like he's not. No, who's nerdier than that? He's young Sheldon, right? And his dad is Top Gun, and it's like, how do we connect? And Charlotte is there to bridge the gap. And so, and by the way, before we go any further, Taylor Page was not familiar with your work. So she's from Zola, which was a cult classic, and she's also more famously for her collaboration with Kendrick Lamar in We Cry Together, right? So like she's been all over stuff in like urban media, urban film, and she pops up in this, and she's giving 1950s housewife, like you said, down with the shits, working on the civil rights movement. And a part of the reason why they had to relocate is because she got too deep into it where they were living before in Alabama, and so now they're moving to the North. And this is one thing I will say about, like, going back to the talks about like racism in the North and is a Klan alive or whatever. They gaslight her and tell her like, this is not the South, ma'am. We give people their rights and we whatever. But like the polite racism is worse because it's so much more egregious later on. So that's Charlotte. Charlotte's a bad bitch.
I would say it's different.
It's more for what's so insidious. It feels more insidious, and I think, and as a northern black, as a northern Negro, it's like people say all the time, like, I'd rather you tell me to my face how you feel than like be nice to me. And then it's like what Neil Brennan says, like in the North, they don't care how high you get, just stay away from them. And in the South, they won't let you get higher, but like they'll let you be close to them, like proximity wise. That's kind of how black and white relation says whatever. Okay,
that's a great description.
I stole it from him. Okay, so yeah, Charlotte and Leroy have a good relationship. They only disagree about, like, again, he's a company man, he believes in his country. And I just want to say on the black military of it all,
this woman's dating Jesse Williams.
That's what I thought that's who I thought that was. Yep. Huh. I'm saying you're not familiar with her game. You're not familiar with her game, buddy. Because Jesse Williams left that light-skinned black woman who looks like me, and people were like, "Oh, he left the mother of his kids. He's so fake. He's so Hollywood, and he got with a darker-skinned woman." So people had to be like, "Can't even really referee that. We're just gonna have to let him have that one." So do you I wanted to ask you, do you have any vets in your family?
Yes.
Because there's always the debate of like, why do all that for this country? And I would say later on in the season, the way that the little bit of power and honor and control that gave to those men helps me understand more why people would choose to do that.
Well, yeah, it's a way out. You can get into the middle class. And at this point in time, they were finally getting the GI Bill and stuff. Because when it first happened, they weren't getting it. They weren't getting it. But at this point, at this point, you could get it. So you could get out and get you a nice house or go to college and, get yourself out of there. So, and that was pretty much the only surefire way to get up out of there during that time.
And one thing I will say is, like, we discount this all the time, but some men just have a sense of honor and justice, and they want to help. Like, they actually want to do what they believe is the right thing. And at that point, masculinity meant military, right? So I just want to touch on that briefly, because I know sometimes, because Charlotte has these moments where she's like, okay, you're gonna sometimes, for the sake of our relationship, you want to keep national secrets from me. But it's kind of like he does believe in honors. It is really God, country, family for Leroy and them. And so then we meet.
Well, he also, I mean, you also can't be out here just telling your wife, if you work for the NSA.
Totally agree.
You just, because you have no idea what she's going to do, and then, like, you totally can't agree. Like, you just can't be out there doing that. So I get that part.
But what I
especially
will say,
the shit they got him doing, like, she probably wouldn't believe that shit anyway, unless she saw it for her own eyes. Hey, baby, I'm fighting this entity that can shapeshift. And we trying to pull it out.
He's mostly a clown. He's a clown.
Yeah,
he's
like,
a clown
what?
For sure. Yeah, exactly.
Should I file my papers?
But when you got a down ass bitch, you need to let her. You know what I mean? I'll sign the paperwork. Let me in. Let me into the Pentagons, and I just want to know the secrets. But actually, no, I don't, because the minute you try to torture me, I'm just gonna be like, yep, take it. Fuck this. You can know. Anyway, we have okay. This is not. So we're not in my we're in my studio, my new studio, but it's not my long-term studio. And usually I would podcast. I don't think I've ever podcasted with like my full living room background, because I used to have, no, I haven't, because I have these two big framed photos that are in storage right now. One of them is of Josephine Baker. And do you know anything about her?
Yes, of course.
Badass bitch from the black and white era, and she was a spy for the French and during the war, and used to dance. It's like a picture of her like in one of the banana costumes, and she's topless, and I just think it's gorgeous. It's a black and white photo. I got that printed in my thing. The other one I have is it's just such a random thing, but this is why this matters to me. It's like such a random autistic thing. So Jahari Palacio, I think is her last name, is a model who like did a random photo shoot in the 70s. And that photo of her is on Dick Hallorann's wall in The Shining.
And from The Shining, the movie. Okay.
Yes, and I saw that, and then I found a print in Austin, and I got it enlarged, and I framed that. So I have Jahari and Josephine on my wall normally. You can't. I'm referring to here because it's usually behind me, and those are like two of my like prized possessions. I've had them in nice big frames, and so I love me some Dick Hallorann just because like it was so random to me that you have this black dude who's just like chilling at this hotel for no reason, but then he got like this stuff who's like, okay, he's down, he's, you know what I mean, he's with the movement, but he's randomly out here in Denver or whatever the fuck. So I've always
Derry?
cherished that photo. No, I'm talking about in
in The Shining.
where's this? Yeah, like I don't know, like in the mountains. And so we get our young Dick Hallorann, who is Bay. I'll give him Bay since you don't want me to call him Zaddy.
He's older. He could be Zaddy.
Oh my god, I'm tired of the stuff. He's not older than Leroy.
I bet he is. Let me see. Yeah, he's 49 years old. So he's much older than a 35-year-old Leroy.
Okay, well, the facial hair makes Leroy older, and so therefore he's now Zaddy. They're all Zaddy. Okay, so he is. We already know about Dick Hallorann. We're not going to waste time revealing that. We slowly but surely figure out, yes, this is the same Dick Hallorann, and yes, it is the same Shawshank they're mentioning from the Stephen King universe. And now, boom, bitch, it's a cinematic universe.
How have we gone 55 minutes and you have not mentioned the coolest character in this show? We've been 55 minutes. And you haven't said
a lot of time in the beginning telling me
and you haven't can't host. You haven't said a single word about Richie. My boy was.
Because we haven't gotten there yet. We're in episode 2.
That dude. Now that's my guy.
Richie's a man. Okay. Let me speed it up. So now everyone's been introduced. Dick Hallorann is there. He's using his shining. And we're like, okay, what's he doing? And there's this military guy who runs everything. I kept being like, what do I know him from? Why is his voice so soothing? Do you know who the guy's from? Where the guy who I'm talking about?
Which guy?
The military guy.
There was like 25 military guys in this show.
The main dude.
The general?
Mm-hmm. General.
Oh, okay. The general. Yeah, what about him?
Yeah. That's Dexter's dad.
I've never seen Dexter. But I know who James Remar is. But I've never seen Dexter.
So James Remar, I kept being like, why do I trust this man? I feel like I shouldn't, but like his voice was so soothing. I was like, that's Dexter's daddy. And Dexter's daddy's cool. So anyway, that is
he was
the
Gamby
whole thing here.
In the terrible Black Lightning show.
Never watched. Yeah, see, you and them CW shows didn't have the time.
Well, I'm not surprised you didn't watch Black. I'm not surprised you didn't watch Black Lightning. No, I'm just not surprised.
So with his whole deal is he's like, hey Leroy, super secret government mission. This is another one of the threads that cracked me up. Somebody was like, the most realistic thing of Derry is that the military would fuck with some spiritual shit they don't know nothing about. And I was like, that does feel very real. So the whole mission is we found out about this thing because we find out that the general was a kid in Derry and his dad was abusive and an asshole. And so it came after him. But this beautiful native girl, indigenous girl, helped save him. And then you know how it makes you forget about it when you leave Derry. So he left. But then the military did some training on him that made him unrepress his memories. He remembered about it. He was like, oh, hey, I have an idea. Let me raise my hand and say, we can use this entity that's in the woods in Derry to control. I'm thinking, you think, okay, they're gonna drop them on, instead of the bomb, they could have dropped him on Hiroshima, right? No, they want to use it to control Black people and race riots in America. That's the whole thing they reveal at the very end. Like, they think it is going to be useful to strike enough terror into people that they stop fighting for justice and stop boycotting and stop getting on, and they sit in the back of the bus because it might get them. Insanity.
I didn't take it as that, but that makes sense. I took it as,
that was my interpretation at the very end.
I took it as he was saying what's the word I'm looking for? Not othering. What's it when you like take two things that are not both sides in it? He was both sides in it. He was basically saying like the people fighting for justice and the people oppressing people are equally bad, and we need it to come out here and set everybody straight so we can stop being at each other's throats. So it was still not good.
Right.
He was both sides in it, but I didn't take it as he was like, we need to set these Negroes in place. I took it as these people are like going at each other. They're equally at fault. It will set everything straight. Is how I took what he said.
Right, but that's where you have to take it another layer to feel like, okay, how do you actually deploy him in the field? Because it's 1962. So what are we doing at that point?
No. He was not going to deploy it. He was just letting it free. It was going to deploy itself however it chose to.
That's my point. But what I'm saying is that this is all I'm saying is if we had fixed all of the shit in our country and then Nazis popped back up out of nowhere and they were like, we're going to unleash this because we're not going back, then they would be deploying it to keep race relations equal. That's not where we're at.
But he has no control. But that's different. You keep saying deploy like he has control over it. He knows he has no control over it. He's just setting it free. It will do whatever the fuck it wants. So if it gets out there and it starts eating the races, then that'll calm things down too.
Right, but the context is that when Leroy at the end is trying to stop him from letting it free, he's like, I have to do it because look at the country's tearing itself apart. And my point is that there's no way that he thinks that that letting it do its thing or whatever, he's going to do hands-off mode or whatever, is going to improve the plight of Black people. So that's not in the back of his head. And I don't think that was in his mind. I don't think that was the point. I don't think he cared if it improved the plight of Black people. I don't think he cared either way. If it did, is that at that time, pre Civil Rights Act, then you're perpetuating it. Like, you know what I mean?
No, because you're assuming that he thinks that it's going to take out the Black people. If it went out there and just ate all the racist people, it would improve the plight of Black people. He has no control over what it does.
But that's not what I'm assuming. What I'm assuming is that he thinks that when it's like what we talk about this all the time, when aliens come down, are people going to put their bullshit aside, right, and fight the aliens, right? So like if an alien landed on the West Bank right now, would Israel redirect their missiles, right? That's what you're assuming. And so my point though is that like, if you want to drop it into the West Bank right now, you don't care who he hurts and harms. So the point is that people are going to get hurt on both sides. So you can't think that one side needs relief. You can't think that like he doesn't want to help one side.
Yeah, but that's not his concern. Yeah, but that's not his concern is not. Point. But his concern is not about but I get what you're saying. No, it shouldn't be.
U.S. military.
Yes.
Deploying it on your own people. Yes. You got to have an objective.
No. Yes, his objective is stop fighting. I don't care how you stop fighting. I just want you to stop fighting. That's the U.S. military's objective. All I'm saying is,
if you stop fighting, then you stay in a place where Jim Crow is in the South. There's no Civil Rights Act.
Why?
Because that's just where you happen to be at when the time that you drop the bomb on people.
If
you stop fighting, we're fighting for rights at the time. So if you stop fighting, you stop the progress of the civil rights movement, whether that's intentional or not. That's how I got to my conclusion.
Unless it takes out the bad people.
Right, but who the fuck? Like we've seen that's not the case, and he knew it wasn't the case at the point he was at. But so anyway, yes, okay, I hear you. I'm just saying he has this pie in the sky idea that like is not realistic for where the country was at the time. It's not realistic for what the entity is. It's not realistic on the research. It's not realistic on what his pure personal memories were of it. It went after him. If it went after you, what do you think it's going to do later? Like, you know what I mean? Like
because he wasn't. That's what I'm trying to say to you. He wasn't making this calculation that you're making in your head. He was making a calculation. If this thing gets out there, people are going to stop fighting, and we will calm the fuck down.
Right, but the idea is that it's just going to kill people indiscriminately, which is also 100% not what the military should be doing. So there's no There's no
that's because
understanding
it was definitely a bad idea. But I don't think his idea was, I'm gonna send this thing out. And what you said originally was he wants to send this thing out to put Black people in this place. And I'm saying in the context of he might have thought that.
That's not
what I'm saying. In the context of the show, we didn't get that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that in the context of the show, he wants to send it out to stop what's happening. But what you need to realize, the subtext of what's happening is Black people are fighting for their rights. So if we stop where we're at, we're still Jim Crow. were Jim Crow for 27 more years.
Well, all right, let me give you an example. So they come down there and they're like, all right, we got to integrate schools, right? And so black people start going to schools. And then we get riots because the white people show up at the schools where the black people was at and start trying to hose them down or stick dogs at them or blocking them from getting in or throwing shit at them, whatever the fuck. Many levels of bad shit. From throwing shit at them to attacking them, right? All and everything in between. So the integration's already happened. So it could go there and be like, all right, y'all stop showing up to fuck with people. And then the black people just go to the integrated schools by themselves, right? It doesn't mean you have to stop where you are. It means
I hear you.
Whatever the feud is can stop. So like civil rights was happening and civil rights was from the government's perspective. I mean, I don't give this country I don't give this country too much credit, but from the government's perspective, from the mid 50s to the late 60s to late 60s, the government and the courts were moving in the right direction, and the people were fighting against what was the racist white people were fighting against everything that was coming down, like integrating schools and interracial marriage, and they were fighting against that.
I would give him this if he was,
but I wouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt because
he was way too vague. He was way too vague.
And the one thing that he did mention, which I'm surprised you didn't say, the one thing that he did mention is the feminist movement, is what he said.
Right.
He said the feminist movement.
I was too focused on him being like, leave Jim Crow alone. Jim Crow's better than what we did all this fighting. Y'all want to argue? That's what I heard.
You're a gender trader, You're trading your gender for your race.
I didn't hear it. I'm black first, and actually no, I'm black and women at the same time. They did come out. I came out as both. Okay, so we have a lot to recap on because of that debate. So
it's a lot more to talk about because this was the big part of the show. I thought this was the worst part of this entire show. Because
that's why I'm saying it would have been a more compelling argument if he was like, I want everyone to have equality and we can stop this.
Well, no, it would have been more of an equivalent argument if he chose a side.
That's what I'm about to say. I'm saying like if he was like, I want everyone.
No, either side. I'm saying either side. Because he could just be a villain, right? I'm okay with him being a villain.
I'm saying if he had chosen to say, I want to fix things, and I think it will help us with that, and then he was misinformed because he had forgotten that it is indiscriminatory and just like anybody, that would have made more sense to me. Or if he was evil, that would have made more sense to me.
That's what I'm saying.
The point is that him being dumb doesn't. But it was
I didn't like it. It was such
like that.
It was such a stupid It was such a stupid thing because the United States military makes bad decisions all the time, right? Bad choices. But they're not. They don't make
under JFK. Not under fucking.
But they don't make like fall on my face. This is the stupidest possible choice I could ever make. Whether you agree with it, and I'm not talking about whether you agree with it morally. I'm just talking about logically. They don't make illogical, fall on your face, stupid decisions like this was. This made no sense. This guy is terrorizing this town, killing children. And you're like, what we need? We need to set free the thing that kills children. That'll fix the country.
Yeah, and he didn't have a good solution for bringing it back in. He's just like, let it run free until it eats y'all up, and then we're going to get 30 years of peace. Was basically
yes, because he does know that it takes cycles. So he does know that.
But that's also like disgusting, like to say, to single-handedly say, hey, I'm going to fix the rest of history by saying we're going to keep peace by every 30 years. We're just going to sacrifice. And again, like, hey, maybe that's an allegory for the military. I don't know. But anyway, what is compelling about this is not just that, but like, so Leroy the whole time is like a company man. So he's going along with it. He's like, he doesn't know what's happening. He keeps barging into the general's office to get more information, but he's like, all right, whatever we're doing must be good because the government wants to do it. Right. Like that's kind of what he's thinking at that moment. And so we just hopped through a lot of the government stuff. We'll come back to that when we get back to the natives. But basically we are okay, sorry. Actually, let's just talk about the natives now. So like we said, when the general was a kid, he used to live in Derry and he met this girl. That girl has grown up to own like the curio shop and she is a like elder in her native community, and they are keeper of like history for this land because they've been there the whole time. And it's very, I love the scenes, the like random scenes where they candidly were speaking, because she's basically like, yeah, I got family in Canada, but she's also like, what the fuck is Canada? Like, these are arbitrary boundaries that they call. Like, my cousins are right there. We used to roam this land, and then white men came and said, this is not your land anymore. And it's just like, okay, I guess. And so we have like those tie-ins, and somebody threaded this. They said like, I just want more prequels of like native people minding their own business because they know something's evil and other people won't listen to them, like in Sinners and like here. And so we have this compelling story where we then find out through Hallorann's shining is not just seeing dead people, it's also being able to get into people's minds. And so he goes into the mind of Daniel, who is Rose, the owner of the shop, and the like one of the native history keepers. Her nephew, she had taught him the lesson of the Galu. And so now I'm jumping around. But Galu is the backstory of it, which is basically that, however long ago, it crashed to the ground on an alien star, and the fragments of the star that it was in broke and let it loose. But long story short is that the elders went out to try to like capture it. People died. And as a result, they went back to get 9 shards of the star and created like a border around Derry. And that border is how they keep it relegated just to the physical boundaries of Derry. And so I guess he can go further out from his hiding spot, like in spirit, but the physical it has to be within the bounds to be and it's like also keeps him weaker. And so that's why he calls kids to him or goes in different forms, because he doesn't have the energy or the space or capacity or whatever to just get up and walk all around the border of Derry. That's basically the metaphysics of it. I might be wrong. I don't think it's that important to actually understand and appreciate the show. But
no, this was good because this explains why the fuck it just stays in Derry. When you watch the movies, you're like, why the fuck don't you just? Why are you always in Derry, dog? Like, what's with Derry? And so this explains why he's in Derry. So I thought that was good.
I'm trying to think. Sorry, because something says Oh, okay. So they're looking for it, and by using Hallorann to try to like sense out where the shards are, or like where the dead like he's just trying to figure out anything that's related to it. And this is why what Brandon says is very stupid. So what the military decides to do is to find one of the shards that's fencing him in, and not to hide it in a vault to be used when necessary, right? Not to take it and study it and replicate it and put it into bullets, right? So that they can use them at any time. No, they're just like, we're going to take one of the shards and just destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
No fucking sense. They were going to burn it. Like, I could see if they're like, look, everybody's going to have a bullet with a little bit of the shard in it, and this is how we're going to keep this thing under control in case this goes wrong. Like, that did not make any sense to me. So this is when Leroy, who had for the most part, he has a turn in the middle. We're going to talk about in a second. We're going to come back to that. But by the end, he's like, y'all are doing some fucked up shit. I can't do this anymore. And he actually like holds the general at gunpoint. And then after that, he's like enemy of the state. He's on the run, basically. But essentially they're on so much fuck shit that like Leroy is like, I can't even be a GI with y'all. I'm not GI Joe no more. I'm not fucking with y'all. So and then I just thought this was interesting because like when they were looking for the shards, they found one of them in a car that like was shot up in 1935. And I think the reason why I bring that up is because it's very likely that in the prequel, that how that car ended up in the water where they found like remnants of it or whatever, that's probably gonna be in a prequel. So I just remembered that that's a small thing. Leroy is befriending Hallorann because he's still learning about the Shining, kind of if we go back to earlier in the season. And so Leroy then knows Charlotte. That's how Hallorann meets Charlotte. So all the Black people become acquainted with each other. So and then the kids, going back to the kids in the high school, there's Lily, who's trying not to. So Lily goes out of her way to be like, look, I told the police your daddy didn't kill us, but I didn't tell him what did kill us because they're gonna put me back into the home, and I can't go back into the mental facility. And Veronica's like, that's some bullshit. That's some biggity big bullshit, because you need to tell them it's not my daddy because they're gonna lock him up. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna try. And then they go and they use it against her. So she caves on him, and they send her to the place anyway. Isn't that crazy? That's the craziest part to me. She did all that, got Hank arrested, and ended up still going and doing a stint in the mental hospital once again. But when she's there,
no. First of all, Hank got to have better taste in women.
No, it's Hank's fault. It's Hank's fault.
You can't date the woman that's feeding kids to someone who she thinks is her daddy. That's clearly. Was your daddy eating kids? Do you remember your daddy eating kids? If your daddy wasn't eating your kids, why do you think that's your dad? He just developed the appetite to eat kids?
You're skipping ahead. You're skipping ahead. The thread, we haven't threaded
that needle that's yet. The part I'm talking about. Hank needs to be able to siphon that out.
Yeah, no.
Like I should be able to tell that this woman feeds kids to an entity. That's not the woman you should be messing with.
Watching movies. Hank is using all his intuition trying to guess the Academy Award winners for the next year. He needs to use a little bit more like his interpersonal relationships. So speaking of Hank, this is where it gets messy. So Lily had this nurse that was really nice to her both of the times she was in a mental institution. That nurse was one of the few adults she feels like she can talk to because her mama don't give a fuck about her. And all the adults think, and they went to the police. They tried to go get pictures of it in the cemetery. They got photos, they developed them together. They go to the police, and the police are like, this is some bullshit. This is like bird shit on a mausoleum. So this lady, I don't even remember her name, is the only lady who Lily feels like she can go to. And it turns out that lady is the wife of the Clint. No, Lily goes to I said Susie, but I meant Lily. Lily goes to the white lady who's a nurse. I'm gonna find her name in a minute, and then it'll make sense. The nurse is the wife of the clan leader who Hank was fucking. So she's involved in multiple different ways, and another way that we find out later. But essentially they are, so now it's getting more and more messy as we get into the season. And then I just want to introduce one last character, which is Rich. So Rich is this Cuban American, well, Cubans are American. He's this Cuban kid, this Latino kid who's very cool, very suave, but also very short. What?
That's my guy, Richie. About time you get to him.
Richie's the guy.
He was the best character on this whole show. He was.
Richie was one of the best characters.
That dude was great. That little kid was great.
Short, charismatic, packed a punch. He was in love with Marge, and it's so funny because Marge couldn't look more like a seventh grader, and he's like seeing flowers when she walks by. So that is Richie. Richie gets them to do the seance in the cemetery because he's like, oh, my Tio taught me about that. And then when they sit down to do it, he's like, actually, I made this up. Like I'm hobbling together stories and my family told me, like, I don't know what's happening. So that's how we find out that Richie's hilarious, because he puts them in the cemetery and then they all kind of have to run out. Marge got involved because when she was trying to set up Lily, Pennywise got to her and made her eyes bug out, and she almost put a machine into her eye, and Lily had to be the one to stop her. And it looked like Lily was attacking her, but she stood up for her. And so now she's like, Marge is like,
I didn't want to see that.
It was gory, but it was okay. It wasn't as crazy as it looked, but it was crazy. And so because she almost like put her eyes to a machine, like to saw them off, and Lily came and stopped her, and then all the kids ran in, and Lily was holding the shit. But what we learned is that like that helps Marge figure out like, oh, do I care about the patty cakes? No, I don't, because there's some real shit going on. So now Marge is in on it. Marge understands that Pennywise is a problem. So now all the 4 kids, the original monsters, or those aren't the monsters. Whatever. Was the monsters just the first 4 kids?
No, because remember the patty cakes come to bully.
She says I'm a monster.
She's like, why are you sitting here with all the monsters? And she goes, because I am a monster.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. They're the monsters. So now we got the real OG monsters. This is the crew. So it's Richie, it's Will, who's super suave, Will, who's super smart, Veronica, who don't give a fuck, and Marge, who's just like there because she got attacked. And we know that Richie loves her because Richie finds an eye patch, a fucking Indiana Jones style eye patch in his attic and brings it for her. And she's like, oh, like they have moments where she thinks he's going to treat her like, oh, you're not popular, you're not cute, and he's like, no, I actually like you and you're all very weird and I'm cool with it. So that is a love story waiting to happen. We are Charlotte, like you mentioned, tries to start helping Hank to get out of jail because she's like, oh, not all your rights were used, whatever. So they send him to Shawshank. They put the nigga on the bus to Shawshank, and the bus gets attacked by it, and he breaks out, and that's when we find out who he was fucking was the lady. I still need to find her name in this episode. Ingrid. Yep. Not worth it, but hey, that's a beautiful lady, just not worth your freedom. I'm not worth anyone's freedom. I wouldn't want anyone to go to jail for me. I wouldn't want you to do it. So
there's some people that you would risk it for. She's not one of them.
There's no one I would risk my freedom for. I can't think of a person. Now there's amounts of money, because in my mind, as long as I make enough on the play to pay for a lawyer that can get me off of it, it was worth it. But that's the only thing I can think of. Okay, so they are so like I said, they got the crew, and we're like halfway through the season at this point, and then we finally start to see Pennywise as a clown. So like we said, Ingrid is this lady who literally feels like she can understand understand her. She takes her seriously, she believes her, she gives her some history about the town. This is when Black people start to really turn this show up, because it turns out that we find out that Ingrid is Pennywise, the dancing clown, the human, that is his daughter. Bob Ross. What's the nigga's name? Bob there's an R.
I don't know his last name.
I thought you were, I really just thought you was gonna look it up for me. So Bob R. And then we also, sorry, before I get
to Roosh or Reesh or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like something. Anyway, that's Pennywise. Bob is Pennywise in human form. Before we get to that, one quick thing is that
Kirsch.
Thank you. In Shining and Doctor Sleep, Hallorann helps people contain their all the messages they get from the other worlds in a box. And so the concept of the box comes up here, and the concept of Hallorann and his grandma who taught him about the Shining, that's all there. And I love that ancestral conversation about intuition and knowing and otherworldliness, that we've lost those recipes as we become more modern as Black people, but that is what also connects us to our heritage, and we don't talk enough about that, but that's another thing. So what we find out is that amazing. So this is when the show got good. So they're all up in the bird's nest, which I don't think is what it's called. They're trying to hatch a plan. They're trying to figure stuff out. And they hear some coughing, and they look, and it's Maddie. What did you think when you saw Maddie resurrect?
That is Pennywise.
Okay, well, I was like, where the fuck this nigga been? I didn't know who he was, what he was doing. I was just like, okay. I wasn't suspicious enough, but I was like, something ain't right. But I wasn't thinking, Pennywise is appearing as this thing. So Maddie is like, hey y'all, I made it out. One of us is still alive in the sewers. And I'm like, oh, perfect, because we need to bring more proof to the police. So if we go get one of us alive, and then he's like, well, they're like, let's get the police. Veronica's like, why would we, again, we need to bring this proof so my dad can get out of jail. And he's like, no police. I'm scared. And Lily's dumbass tries to help because she's the closest to Maddie. So Lily basically leads them into the sewers. This is when a bunch of crazy shit happens. They go into the sewers at the same time that the military is going into the sewers. And it is appearing as different people. So it appears as Charlotte Hanlon to Leroy, and he failed to shoot her in time, and his pal had to shoot her to get him out of it, to save him. And then Paulie was the one who had to save him. And so they're like, all right, from now on, we just gonna shoot on sight. We're not gonna ask no questions. If anyone we see down here is not wearing a green military uniform, we're gonna kill them because it's a wrap. Like Pennywise is live in these sewers. At the same time, they had gotten the dagger. They had found the dagger, one of the daggers that was keeping Pennywise in, and so Daniel had it and was leading them down there. Daniel runs and gets away, but the dagger drops, so that's down there. And that's how the kids find it, by chance. So they have the dagger for the rest of the season, or one of the 9 daggers. And so while they're down there, the kids are running from Pennywise, and they realize that Pennywise is actually Maddie, and they're shook. And this is like when it really starts to get scary, and you first really start to see Pennywise in his first form. And as they're running and yelling, and Leroy hears his son. And again, the rules of engagement were shoot on sight. Your wife's not down here. Your kid's not down here. And so as he's running in, Leroy got the toolie, okay? He's locked in. He got the right. He got he got the focus on, right? Safety's off. He gets ready to shoot, and Paulie goes, no, I see him too. Oh shit. Jumps in front and gets shot by his military gun. Leroy shoots Paulie on accident. It's friendly fire, and Paulie jumps in front to save Leroy from killing his own son on accident. What do you think about that?
I knew it was going to happen. It was so obvious that was what's going to happen in this, because that man don't got no fear. He's Daredevil. So Daredevil gonna take him out.
Well, I didn't think it was fear as much as like he just had gotten caught before because he was confused when he saw Charlotte. So he was like, you're not going to get me twice. And he just wasn't listening to Paulie. I was more like sad because I was like, damn, like they did make Paulie like this fun guy who was like, hey, like clearly one of his best friends in the world, but like we didn't really see him a lot. And he snitched on Charlotte at one point, and then they just used him as a plot device to kill him. So he dies, and that's basically the first half of the season. Then we're getting into and then Hallorann has been doing all this stuff to try to help out the government, and he's like, hey, the black airmen don't have nowhere to be, because when we go into fucking Cheers pub and they're racist to us, like we can't get a beer, so can you give us somewhere to be? So they create this place called the Black Spot, and they start cleaning up this shack that's at the edge of the military base or outside the military base, and they create that space that's where they create the space to party and like let off steam, and
like sinners.
So like sinners, right? I mean, look, I was just like, damn, it's always been a juke joint. But then when you think about it, because black people do need a place to be, because and I'm inviting you in and learn more. Like if you don't know this, but like dance music, hip hop, piano, R&B, whatever, like that's all such a vibe that like pop music, playing the wrong pop song, playing country, all that ruins a certain vibe in a night out. And so when you're looking for a DJ who plays your music, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like the right playlist and like your culture being correctly played in a night out. And that's what they're looking for. Like there's just no need to code switch, right? Like when you're in your happy place. And so that's what the Black Spot is. That's what the juke joint. That's what was the juke joint called in?
It's Sinners.
Sinners. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
I need you to be doing my research.
You didn't put me on research duty. I would have had it. I had it up and running.
Well, no, I need you to be like on the go. Like I need you to be like more of like an assistant, if you will.
What is that? What you do for me?
And then joint? Also no, what was it? What was the juke joint called? And this makes me so mad. Color Purple. It's
called Juke Joint.
Don't make me mad.
What's called?
It was called. That was called Juke Joint?
Yes.
No, it had a name to it. It was named after Harpo, wasn't it? Harpo's juke joint. Okay.
The juke joint.
I knew it was something. Thank you so much. Harpo's juke joint. It was Harpo's juke joint. You're right. Sorry, my bad. Okay, we're gonna get through the rest of this pretty quickly because we set it all up. So we find out that Ingrid is Pennywise's baby, and Pennywise was a nice dad, right? Her mom had passed away. They was a family of clowns. Bob was nice. Their family of clowns. He was really supportive. It was Pennywise and Periwinkle. She was training to go back on the road with her daddy. And one day Bob is like, and Bob as a clown has the Pennywise outfit on. He does the little crank him up dance, little crank that Pennywise. He does that dance. The kids love him. Kids go wild. He's all the rave. He's off the clock. His wig's off. He's smoking a cigarette. And this little child approaches from the woods and goes, "The children enjoy you," or something like that. And he's like, why the fuck would a kid say that to me? Like, that's what he says to the kid. He's like, "Why? You sound weird as fuck. What's going on with you?" And he's like, "I need help find my mom." And he's like, "Okay, go find her." And so again, Bob's doing all the stuff I would do. Bob is like, "Please leave me alone." But if a kid asks you over and over to help you find their parents, there's only so many times. I don't know if I would walk into the woods with him, but I would definitely go find the security and be like, "Somebody gonna have to help this kid because he's bothering me." So that's it appearing as a kid to lure him in, because it realizes kids are drawn to clowns. Kids are afraid of clowns. Like, clowns is like a common, it can't turn itself into public speaking. You know what I'm saying? So like a clown is like a great manifestation of something that strikes fear in people. And so it starts to go like, oh, Pennywise would be the way that I'm going to manifest. And I think people who are not up on canon didn't realize that Pennywise is an alien. Like, I think people thought he was just a clown who like morphed into this evil thing. And so there was some dialogue about people being like, "Oh, boo, I didn't know Pennywise is supposed to be this." Like, and so that's why it is what it really is. And Pennywise is just the clown manifestation of it that makes it more scary. And Bill Skarsgård honestly did his thing. And I don't know if you saw any of this dialogue, but people are saying that they think Bill Skarsgård should be the next Joker. What are your thoughts?
I don't want to see the Joker anytime soon in those movies.
No, like just in DCU. Oh, okay. You're tired of him?
I think
that's Jared Leto's fault, though. That's not Bill Skarsgård's fault.
I think Batman has a lot of other rogues that'd be more interesting in the short term. But if you ask me if I think he could do a good job as a Joker, yes. He'd look weird.
What if there's like a Legion of Doom, just like a meeting?
I actually don't know if I want him to be the Joker, because people are just going to think he's Pennywise playing the Joker.
I think it's more that people are like, he's so good at Pennywise that let's give him a chance to be somebody else scary. Because he's really good as Pennywise. Really good. Okay, so Lily finds out who Ingrid is, and then we realize that some of the times when they thought they were seeing a clown in the past, they were actually seeing Ingrid's crazy ass dressed as a clown trying to lure Pennywise out. So like, she would follow the kids, create scary situations, or wait for them to get scared, and then wait, because in her mind, if her daddy in Pennywise sees her, then he's going to turn back into her.
He's going to turn back
into her daddy, into Bob.
Yes, into Bob. No, she thinks that is her daddy.
She thinks he's just like, he's kind of like you said before. You think your daddy's just eating people, and he's going to forget to stop. He's going to stop eating people and be like, "Oh, my bad. I'm going to be your daddy again." 30, 40 years later. He didn't 8 kids in front of your ass. Came after you. And so we find out that she's also like she started like luring kids in, or like paying attention when they talk about Pennywise, because she's been basically feeding Pennywise this whole time, trying to get her daddy to come out. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, that's just so fucking insane. And so
she's insane.
Now,
which is why I'm very upset at Hank Grogan.
Ableist, but true. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you're not wrong. Like, did he not pick up on none of that? You telling me at no point was they pillow talking and she was like, you smell scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, did he never pick up on any of this?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So then we get to like a quintessential, the penultimate episode was crazy. And this is what people mean when they say that like racism is scarier than anything else. So we figured out about Bob Gray. We have seen that Clint Bowers is getting like denounced as chief of police because he fucking sucks, can't close the case, and and the fact that like the Shawshank bus gets attacked and Hank is on the run, nobody can find him. The black soldiers hide him in the black spot because Charlotte is trying to do like an Underground Railroad situation. She's trying to get him out of there and smuggle him out so he can get to freedom, because one thing she does know is that he didn't do it to these kids. And then over time, she's developed the understanding that there's something, like he really didn't do it to these kids. Like there's something happening, because she's been helping Will. Will finally opened up to her. She knows something's going on. Leroy hasn't really put it together. Leroy starts to believe when he sees a balloon multiple times and is like, oh shit, something's going on. And because the way that it reveals himself to his dad is like his dad had almost burned up at one point in Korea, and he saw his dad in the water like as a burnt up trying to get to him. So Clint got fired. He in the bar drinking away his sorrows. He's like, you know what, y'all? Actually, they fired me, so now I'm about to WikiLeaks everything. Let's go. I know where the fuck Hank Grogan is at. Let's go get him. And so
you know why he knew where Hank Grogan was at?
Tell me. I actually don't know if I know.
This is like the whole part of the whole story. They got the tip on him to begin with because Ingrid called in the tip. And then Ingrid called in this tip to tell him that she was at the juke joint because she set it up with Charlotte.
There'd be so much fear there.
Yes, to get because it'd be so much fear that it would bring her daddy out. It was all a plan.
Okay. Quick check in with the chat. Thank you guys so much for keeping us up to date. Petty Gibbs is live chatting with us. The show really don't recognize when kids look like demons. And when there's this moment where the Ingrid has a memory of her as Periwinkle, and her dad is like, oh, show me the bow, and she's hype about that. He's mentioning that when Maddie never took a shower, I knew. Petty Gibbs says, because why wouldn't you come about the sewer and want to take a shower? That's real. And then also called Ricky a pint-sized Ricky Ricardo. Very, very real. Yep. And the kids on the show were fantastic. They were like little old people. I totally agree. Oh, and thank you. Yes, these are. He says he likes my customized microphone. Brandon has one too. He just hides it because he doesn't want people to know about the show.
Exactly.
And then he brought up a good point, going all the way back to talking about the general. He said he wanted to get his Thanos on. I agree, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even Thanos was crazy as fuck with Thanos. There's an argument to be made about what Thanos was saying in terms of like, yeah, less people would be better. It's just barbaric the way you're trying to do this.
No, there was no argument for Thanos. I hate these. You know how many times I've gotten this?
People would be easier fed, but there's no way to make it happen. So it's not okay. All right, I don't want to do that.
He had the Infinity Gauntlet. He could just, instead of killing half the people, why don't you double all the resources? There you go.
Exactly. There you go. No, he's 100% dead set on his idea. What I'm saying though is that like it is true that less people, overpopulation leads to stuff. So less population would lead to other stuff. That's all I'm saying. Like he's identifying a real problem. Like the general is identifying a problem. It's just the solutions for it don't make any sense. But yes. I can understand someone being like, I want to do something about overpopulation. And so then you might be like, oh, so I'm going to buy Twitter. Okay. So he is... Oh, Stan Kirsch is Ingrid's husband. So Kirsch is her married name, and then Gray is her dad's name. Okay. Long story short, Ingrid, the bitch set them up. Bitch burned me. You want to look at the last comment?
What? Boom?
You want to pull it up? No, right after that.
I mean,
you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a great idea. Listen, you know how many fights I got into when I had to deal with people trying to tell me that Thanos was right and that Killmonger was right. And I'm like, these people were not good people. I don't know what's wrong. What world do y'all live in where these are the good people?
Anyway.
These are not the good people.
When nobody said that, we all just said he had a point.
They didn't have a point. Everyone has a point. Donald Trump has a point sometimes. You're not going to hear me telling you he's right.
Anyway, I never said he was right. I just said he had a point. Okay, so this is, as a Black person, this is when the show felt very Black to me. But okay, this is what the show was. The show is already a Black show.
No, hold on. Before you go into that, we're an hour and 38 minutes into this. And you told me you were going to explain to me why people were rooting for Pennywise.
Okay, I'm about to get there.
I still haven't gotten there yet.
I'm about to get there.
I just needed to remind you that was your task.
How much time did we talk before we got into it? Maybe like 10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm like an hour and 5 into it. Okay, so here's what happens, guys. Because I'm in my mind, there's somebody in 5 years is going to watch this. Oh, before the remake, maybe before the next season, maybe somebody comes and catches up. So I think these details matter. But okay, so they have the black spot. That's where the airmen, the black airmen, and their girls are hanging out. They have a live band. They got like some white girl singing the doo-wop, which is hilarious because they come and they shame her for that. But like they're minding their business. They're not bothering nobody. It's just partying bullshit. However, one quick thing I want to say is there's this weird time when one of the guys hands Richie and Marge some whiskey. And I'm like, that's not a thing.
No. They asked for a Coke. He said, sure thing, buddy. And then he hands them rum and Coke. That's what he gave them, rum and Coke.
Right, which would be funny-ish, but not at this time. That's what I'm saying. Like, Black men cared more about their lives than that. They're not giving white children liquor on an illegal base at a park. First of all, I don't believe that the party would have even happened in real life because they would have stopped and said, "Whose white baby is this? Who are these kids?" Like
they knew who they were. If the white kids is down, they down. They was white people at the juke joint and Sinners.
No, there weren't. There were no white people invited.
There were. Yes, there were. There were 2 white people there. There was Haley Steinfeld, who was there.
Who was controversial.
Yeah, but everybody was down with her.
Okay, who's the other white? Who was the other white?
And there was another white dude there. I could swear there was another white person there.
No, you mean the Asians. You think about the Asians. There was absolutely not a white man.
The Asian person.
Yeah,
but Haley Steinfeld was there and she was cool.
All cool. Right. They were all cool and they were all of age. It's not no kid. You're not worried about somebody looking for their kid and they find you there. That's a charge on, you know what I'm saying? And there's a nigga on the run for killing all these kids, black and white. And the nigga is actually that's on the run is in the back seat, by the way. He's hiding in the back. In the back. Who's that in the back? So that's not realistic. But they have that happen. The Klan comes after them. Long story short. We've been building this up. The Klan comes and they're like, hey, they all got masks on and they see the white lady who's singing. They're like, you should be ashamed of yourself. So she runs home and they let her go. And they let her go, but they didn't let the children go. And that's how I also knew they were on bullshit. And they are basically like, y'all give me Hank. We know he's here. And they're all like, who's Hank? We don't know what Hank. We never met Hank. And Hank's dumbass come right out the room. If you don't try to break a hole into the back of that cabin, why would he come and reveal himself immediately?
Because he's trying to be a good person.
He was terrible. I don't blame any black people in this show, but Hank was a dumbass. I'm gonna tell you that from start to finish. If Hank hadn't been so stupid, so many things wouldn't happen. So I think collectively everybody was like, oh, this man, when he came out the back. So they're like, all right, got y'all. We know it's y'all. We know y'all been hiding him. So now there's no more debate. And they're like, oh, actually, and they all pull out their guns. They're like, okay, so we see your guns. We raise you government issued guns. Like, we got a license to carry. I know y'all, all these are illegal. Y'all got illegal straps. So like, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to have a shootout or y'all want to get the fuck up out of here? So they're like, oh, fine. Okay, fine. We'll leave. They walk out. And I think everybody collectively was like, some ain't right about that. There's no way they're going to go home and lick their wounds. And in fact, they were not. They locked them in because apparently there's only one entrance in there, which fire code. And then
no, there was 2 entrances, but they surrounded the juke joint. They blocked both
right,
entrances.
But there was like, but I don't. Okay, fair enough. Right,
because they ran to the back and that was blocked too, and then they started trying to climb out the windows and they was sniping them out because they had the whole thing surrounded.
Right. So then they start shooting up and lighting the whole thing that's made of wood on fire. And so they set the whole thing ablaze, women, children, men in it. Servicemen, countrymen, they attack. And
did you see the one white guy?
Is more
did
like
you see the one white guy, right? This one, I don't typically feel bad for white people, particularly racist white people, but I kind of felt bad for this white guy. Because did you see the one white guy who it was one of the kids that got killed was his child that got killed. So he was out there looking to like he legitimately believed, yo, this guy killed my kid. Like, I'm getting him.
Oh, but then, one of the kids who died in the beginning. Yeah.
That was his kid. That was his kid. But then after they burnt that shit down, they zoomed in on him, and his face was basically like, I'm no better than him. Like, I just burned down a place with men, women, and children. Like, what the fuck did I just do? Mm-hmm. Like, it was like the revenge drove him to like, I got to get this person who killed my child. No, and then once he realized who he got in bed, the way they shot his face was, I got in bed with these people to get revenge. I didn't think I was going to go this far, and then it was like complete guilt.
Well, a little bit. I think I would say two things. One is that you could tell it's about hatred for most people because he's like, I want to see his dead body. And they're like, oh, relax.
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. They don't even care. Like, they can care less.
It's not about justice for them. Yeah.
And he's like, that dude killed my kid. Like, I want to know who killed my kid.
And they're like, technically, not, he wasn't proven guilty. We're not sure. How can we be sure, basically?
They didn't even care.
Yeah, there's like that. Yeah, it's definitely sick. I don't know how he felt, but I know that he was okay with what they did at first. So there's that scene, and it's like so horrific because you just have Black people running around and doing all they did was have a good time. Like literally and you could say they aided and abetted a criminal, but they also like delayed the miscarriage of justice because they do know something's going on. And I think like the race of it makes sense, but it's crazy because I'm watching, actually it might not be that crazy. Maybe it's not coincidental. Maybe it's intentional, but there's on this 4th season of Stranger Things, which this is a spoiler if you haven't watched it. There is somebody on the run and people know he did not do it, but they cannot explain that he did not do it because something supernatural did it. And so they're aiding and abetting technically, but they are again, it's just like, shit, Anne Frank was illegal. The fuck, you know what I mean? Like nobody is like, oh, you bring her out the attic, you assholes. Like no, they're like, hey, you did something right? Like you did something moral in the instead of something legal. So this is why it's like I don't really want to hear the argument about oh yeah, he thinks he killed them because he was not proven guilty and there was no real. It's just like they want a scapegoat. The other thing about Derry, and I think like an underlying theme here is there's a scene where they're papering over the wanted ads for all these missing children with wanted ads for Hank. So their hatred does become more palpable. Like the energy they use to squad up and blow them up is easily better used to find those kids.
Find what kids? The kids is dead.
But the point is that they spend less time looking for them and more time getting organized with weapons and getting dynamite than they did. Like they care more about that than they care about
those people didn't give a shit about the kids. They just wanted an excuse to terrorize Black people.
Right. I'm not even saying the Klan. I just mean in general, right? Like like the community, the men, the people who got upset. Like they didn't actually get that upset. And I don't know if that's Pennywise messing with their brains and the whole like if you leave.
Well, that's part of what they say is like part of the reason why Derry is so evil is because Pennywise is there.
The racism.
For like
making them evil,
fueling all of that. But no, they didn't give a fuck about. They didn't give a fuck about them kids. The only person who cared about the kids was the dad of one of the kids that was there. He was the only one that was there for like, hey man, this dude killed my son.
Yeah, the rabbi sought peace. He sought peace. Okay, so this is when P Money is born. So Pennywise pops up because he's like, this is perfect, and he starts eating people. This is when he eats full-grown women, right? He's out here. I guess there's not as much reason to eat the Klan because they're not scared in that moment. But like people did have the critique of why do we have to watch these black people go through all this trauma and pain and not see the white people get any justice? Which I don't know if saying Pennywise eats people is justice, but you get what I'm saying. And so they drive off, but Stan, the butcher's wife, stays behind, or Pennywise had messed his car up, and so he eats him like just pops his head off, does what he has to do. Ingrid pops out and is like, Papa?
No, you're very underselling what he did. Okay. He sliced his head in half with a machete, with a hatchet, like a machete, and then he flipped it over like a pineapple at vacation and started eating his brains out of his head. Like he was on a pineapple in vacation right in front of his daughter.
That was a good kill. And so his daughter Bob's daughter pops out and is like, Papa? Dad? And he's like, who the fuck is this? He knows who she is, but he's like, yeah. This is when he became P-Money, because he's like, what's up? Like, he's like, it's like she's a weird stalker fan. And he's like, ugh, this is awkward. What's up? What can I do for you? You want a photo? Like, what do we? And she's like, it's me. And he goes, oh, do the bow for me. Or wait, what's Pennywise's voice like?
Yeah, that's what he said. Do the bow for me.
Do the bow. I want to get his voice. I'm trying to get his laugh in his voice because Pennywise is. I mean, if I heard it again, can you do it?
I can do it, but I'm not saving you. You got to get it.
Let me look this up.
You can't look it up. That's cheating.
No, I want to hear the cadence so I can't do a thing. Okay, so anyway, then he goes, do the bow, and she's like, it's me. And she has a moment where she's like, oh, it's him. Like, oh, my dad's coming back. And he's like, so anyway, yeah, I'm about to go to sleep. He's like, I'm done. He's like, oh man, I'm full. He's like, that was really good meal. Thank you so much for getting me. Like, you got me appetizer, you got me 3 courses. Like, I didn't have dessert, girl. That was really what's up. So I'm about to go take my little nap. I'm gonna see you niggas in like 27 years. And she's like, no, don't leave me. And her fear of abandonment pops up. And he goes, first of all, he goes, unhand me. And he goes, she's like, what's going on? What? And he senses her fear, and the beast comes out for a little bit, and she goes, you not my father. First of all. But he goes, you're not my father. And he goes, what do you mean? And then this is probably the scene that I think this is what made people really fall in love with him. Oh man, let's see if we can get into the mic. I do not have the clip. He goes, I'm Pennywise, your dancing daddy. And he does a dance and comes in to eat her. And that's how she meets her fate. And that she has a fuck around and find out moment.
He didn't eat her.
He deadlights her. He deadlights her. He does it. But my point is this. Saying I'm your dancing daddy is objectively hilarious.
Yeah, Pennywise is funny. You still haven't explained why people are rooting for him.
Because that was funny, and then they're like,
he was funny in the movies.
But it was different because the context is different. Because there's a show about Black people, and Pennywise is funny. Pennywise was just funny, but he was also really scared. He was scarier in the movies. This is like, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm just reporting on the news. So He says that, and people were like, this is hilarious that he said that. Why would he say I'm your dancing daddy? And they start clipping it. And then if you notice it, Pennywise, his hair is like perfectly curled, and it always has been. But then the joke started saying like the reason why is because he's been using Charlotte's hair rollers. He's been hanging out with Black people, and it just became a thing beyond that. And so people are like, it is hilarious because he just be eating people and minding his business, and then here y'all come bothering him. And so people were mad about him not, like, we didn't get any like feeling of justice, but like him coming and eating the Klan up or whatever. But like at the same time, his kills have been so like diabolical that it started to like be endearing in a weird way. And so, and also by this point,
what?
I'm not gonna be on record saying that, but if you come to this moment on YouTube, and I'm gonna do it one more time. Brandon, are you watching? So I mean, what is there to be mad about yet? You're not
He's eating kids. That's what you should be mad about. He's eating kids.
He is eating kids. He shouldn't do that.
No, he should not eat the kids.
He should not do that. He should not do that.
Correct. Yes.
He should not do that. But it's not triggering any real trauma for me. This scene triggered trauma for me, but Pennywise didn't do that. And so then it's like it's not that scary because it's so unrealistic, right? And it's not triggering any type of like, wow, Pennywise is only going after these certain kids or whatever. Like it's like you can suspend disbelief and then also be like tapped into the real racial like issues of reality. And it's like a very interesting, like you're just grooving in between those two things. Excuse me. So while that's happening, simultaneously they're doing the whole like dagger thing, trying to let him loose like idiots. But the kids survive. But one of them does not, because Marge and Richie, and this is my only other critique. This is when I said I think James Cameron directed this episode, because the fire's coming down, they get trapped by a beam because Hallorann uses his like sixth sense to see that there's like space underneath the fridge, basically to let people escape. So some people escape, the main characters do. Most of the other people die. They're shot or taken down by fire, and then the one black woman is killed by Pennywise. Richie finds like a little like an ice box, and he's like, okay, let's get in. And she's like, it ain't enough room. And it's Marge and Richie, and she's like, get in, we can do it. And so Marge gets in, and Richie goes, all right, love ya. And she's like, wait, what? No. And so he basically makes her stay in there so that he can save her and she can avoid the smoke inhalation and the fumes and the fire. And this is when I said no, because there's no way you're telling me they could not have 70 minus 1 and got out of this alive. You're not gonna tell me that.
What do you mean 70s minus 1?
70 minus 1. You telling me they couldn't have did that to stay alive?
Did you see how little that box was? What are you talking about?
No, I really couldn't. That's what I said. It felt to me like how what's his name could have survived on that raft at the end of Titanic. I was just like, there's a way to make this work, and I feel like we should have tried.
No, they could not have. She could barely fit in the box.
But Richie's smaller than her.
He had to sit on the box so that it would stay down because she was too tall to fit in the box.
Oh, okay, you're probably right, but it just hurt me. I was like, why would we set this up in this way? I was like,
because
at least die trying.
Richie's the man.
At least die trying. Richie is the man.
Richie was the best character on the show, and you talked about him for 2 minutes this entire show.
Richie gets a heroic death.
He had the best lines. He had the best lines.
And I called him, and I gave him his American freedom as a Cuban. So he
had the best lines. He was down for all his people. Even the ones he just met. He was funny.
He's a real friend.
He was funny.
He's a real amigo. He's valid. He was valid.
The new black kid came to school. He immediately made friends with him.
He did make friends with the nerd. And he was like, hey, you can be nerdy. That's cool too. He warns him about the stink bomb, all of that. So Richie sacrifices himself for her. And also they tell each other they love each other. Of course, you got tears. It's just like, I think what was weird for me was like, they just killed people in like a somewhat anonymous way. Like you just saw people getting shot and like down in the dark. And then Richie died in a very specific way, and I like wish that more black people had gotten like a loss out, because like the fire almost like made you angry, and then Richie made you sad, and I feel like there's like something there that I can't really articulate. But Richie died, and it's very sad. And they love each other. It was like first love, and that's how Richie gets named after. That's how Marge ends up naming her son Rich after him. Which, side note, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, that's how you honor somebody. I got no problem with that.
Naming your son after your wife's first love. I mean, again, if he died for her,
no, not his first love. The person who died for me.
Oh, okay. But yes. It's kind of the same thing. Like
it's not the same thing.
I guess it's true.
It's okay, the person who died. She did love him first, but it was.
And you wouldn't be a part of the picture if he was still around.
Yeah, but my son probably wouldn't be named after him if he didn't die for me, die for her. Okay. Even if it was just his first love,
I got
she probably wouldn't name her son after him.
I was trying to red pill for a second. No, I'm fucking with it. And Richie's one of my faves. So, because again, you know why? Ben Wolfhard plays him in the remake, and he's from what show?
I have no
idea. Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, Richie is from Stranger Things.
It's all right. It's all connected. Okay, cool. So anyway, now this is just gonna piss you off. Basically, they try to say they try to save Hank. Hank's basically not going back to jail after this, because after this he's just on the run. He's hiding out at the Hanlon's house. Leroy is like, what the fuck? Like, y'all are always in danger. I almost killed y'all multiple times. Like, what are we doing? And the kids are just like, we got to get out how we live it. We're trying to do our best. And Charlotte is like, look, I was trying to help him, but now I'm getting tired. Like, there's just kind of the end of the season. But it's kind of an end of the show type feel. And so Will goes home, and like Charlotte's like, let's just get Hank somewhere safe. Will goes home, and he gets a call from Ronnie, and Ronnie's like, isn't that so sad? I can't believe Richie's died. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, and then Ronnie's like, actually, Richie kind of tasted delicious as a barbecue snack. And she's like, what? She's like, yeah, Richie was a good old filet kebab. He's like, what the fuck? And we find out it's Pennywise on the phone and calling Will to heckle him basically, and Will is like, I'm gonna fuck you up, Pennywise, when I see your ass. It's a rap for you. Like, it's on. No, this is Will, the kid. At the end of season 7, Will's on the phone, and Ronnie calls. He's like, Pennywise, I'm gonna fuck you up. It's a rap. It's on sight when I see you, nigga. Fuck you and your mama. Like, it's whatever. And Pennywise like, oh, word? He's like, yeah, it's word. Like, it's whatever. Cause I'm gonna see you when it. And Pennywise goes, ha ha ha. And you turn around, and Pennywise is on the fridge. He's on the fridge because they let him out because they thought he went to sleep. But when they opened up the dagger, when they tried to get rid of the dagger or whatever, they broke the force field, woke it up, and it is now running the fucking streets for like a midnight special. It's like he's back for one night only, and so he goes straight to the Hanlon house and puts the deadlights on Will, and that's how episode 7 ends.
Yes.
So episode 8 is the denouement. We basically have the kids working together to try to get the dagger back to the hiding spot. I'm just summarizing it all at a very high level. One thing that I need to honor is at the end of the black spot, they called it an electrical fire. And that's what's more insulting. That's what's as insulting as the attack, is that the memories of those people were being told great. Like.
That was such a great touch in this show.
Yeah, clarify.
Because that's exactly what would have happened if this was real. They wouldn't have said
it was exactly.
They wouldn't have said a bunch of white people rolled up and burned the thing to the ground. They would have said, "Oh, isn't it unfortunate this electrical fire happened?" But also there was a fugitive there, and luckily he died with it. Like, that's exactly what would happen there.
And they're telling you how like racism is that palpable that this is basically like this hurts as much as seeing the kids get eaten. Like, this is just like, so it's so much more harm. It's so violent. It's like a literally not a violent act to report the news wrong, right? But like, that is violence.
Well, no. I don't think that's what that was. I don't think that was the news reporting it wrong. I took that as the military cleaned that, like, because you see the military people cleaning that shit up. I took that as the military telling them this is what happened there. Like, this is the story.
No, I think it was a cover up to the extent of like, because they don't honor the servicemen who died. Like, they're not like, sadly 3 airmen died in a freak accident. Like, they literally say something like the airmen did it, or the airmen were not supposed to be where they were at. Like, they blame it on the airmen too. So that's why it could have been the military and the police together. But my point is that nobody's going to call the Klan out, and the Klan continues to be like,
no, of course not.
your niche isn't able to do their thing.
That's
and
what
so
I thought
that
was
has insult the industry. And this is what I'm saying is like there's violence in that, like there's violence in ruining people's memory by not telling the truth. And that's why people talk so much about like the non-physical parts of racism or sexism that are violent too. Like it's like people say all the time that, you know, being assaulted is one thing, and then somebody calling you crazy and saying you made it up is sometimes equally insulting, because it's like now you're playing with my memory of my pain, and then you're weaponizing it against me, and using it to further people's like stereotypes about me as a woman or whatever, right? So that's what really spoke to me as a piece of art and like as a piece of literature, what they were doing. So episode 8 is basically, okay, it starts with the funniest scene I've ever seen in my life. Funniest scene I've ever seen. So the Mist, do you think that's the Mist like Stephen King, the Mist, or just Mist?
No, it's the Mist.
Okay, we got another thing. We got Shawshank, we got the Mist, we got Castle Rock in here, we got we already said Shawshank, we got all the It's, and there's somebody thought that Leroy was driving Christine. They were like, no, you went too far, that's not Christine. And so basically this Mist rolls into the town, and you start seeing people like do like the like It smile. Do the It smile with me. He did.
No, I'm not doing it.
That's what
and you did it wrong.
They did it though.
You're supposed to duck your head down.
I don't have 2 buck teeth. I can't.
No, you're all proper. He ducks his head down like this. He has this giant forehead in the front.
No, I mean when he makes people do the smile for him. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Good. That was good. That was great. That was strong. But the mic is kind of covering your mouth. So he basically, the Mist starts making people do the It. They're doing the Pennywise. They're doing the P Money. And so he's on a tear. He goes to the high school and he says, and by the way, his outfit, he's covered in blood because he'd already gone to sleep. And he just sleeps in a pile of all his people he's killed. And so he's just like, the whole time he's clean, head to toe, just like white, and he's blood out. Like he's repping his set the rest of the time. And he goes to the high school and he does an announcement in the principal's voice and says, hey, upperclassmen, go on and get you 17, 18, your balls and drop, please get out of here. Any young kids, straight to the auditorium. Brandon, this is hilarious. He comes out, he gives him he throws the principal's body in his head separately. He does the Pennywise dance. He's like, waka waka. He locks the doors, and then he just puts all the kids under deadlights. Scares the shit out of them, deadlights them. And so then later we see him and the Pennywise, like the little van thing that carries around the clowns. He's driving with just like a caravan of floating kids behind him, just like trying to get them out of town or whatever. Like they're over the ice.
Pennywise
they're trying
to overconfident.
He definitely was doing a victory lap before it was like before but basically he capacitated everyone with the Mist. And so like he had killed adults, but he also was had gotten all the kids. And one thing I will say is like they cannot, unless they make them all forget en masse, they cannot call Lily crazy no more. There's a win, and they probably will because he's gonna make them forget. So Pennywise, I forgot the song. Oh, I didn't talk about you mean the intro song, right? Overall, Petty Gibbs, or you mean the song they play right there? Nigga, Brandon, I did forget. I didn't tell you that a smile and what's it called? A smile and a ribbon. A smile and a ribbon. Do you know that's a certified hood classic?
No, I didn't know.
Niggas love the intro music.
The silly music for the credits, the intro.
And a ribbon in my hair. And that song, yes, niggas are going crazy. People are doing TikToks doing like our dances to that song. Certified. Don't skip that when you listen to it. When you watch that, let that play. That's just going, they might as well put AOL mixtapes in the beginning of that. Or they need to do a DJ drop. That's why it's a black show, because we decided that we like the intro music.
Okay. I'm learning.
So, anyway, thank you, Petty Gibbs, for the reminder. So anyway,
I guess I need to get on social media again.
You do a thread specifically. So Pennywise is doing his victory lap. He's hitting the folks, and He's got Will, he's got all the other kids, he's got them in Deadlights. Ingrid is still in Deadlights, and I guess it was about to stay in Deadlights forever if he had just gone to had he gone to ground with that happening, it would have been a wrap. But okay, so while that happens, Leroy is running from the military people because he already pulled a gun on the people. He's, you know, he's gonna be discharged. Okay, he's gonna be a vet from here on forward. You know, Hallorann is like, I can't do this no more. He's also out. And Charlotte is with them. They got the Rose, the native woman, and her nephew Daniel, and they also got oh, Hank is with them, and then the kids are all together. They're running their mission, and so they're trying to find Will, and nobody knows where he's at because he's been missing. And so the natives are like using, the tribe is able to use their knowledge to be like, oh, he's on his way out. He's on his way out where they pulled the stake out the ground. Like wherever they open up the gate, he's on his way trying to leave the town so he can do what he wants to do with them and then terrorize from here on out. So they're on a race against time to try to get there. And long story short, they do get there, and while they get there, but the kids get there first. And so the kids get there and they're using the dagger. So the dagger is like kind of like the ring. It's driving you crazy the longer you hold on to it. So they've figured out a system of friendship to keep each other accountable, which is great. And so they use the dagger a little bit as like a shield, but they can, you know, it's only one directional, right? Like he can still sneak up on you if it's the other way around. So they're kind of scared. He has them in the dark and it's very misty. They're on ice, and he uses whatever to pull Marge apart of the group. And this is when he gives us the exposition we mentioned before, which is to say, Marge, your son Richie thinks he's cool and shit because he's gonna kill me later, but guess what? Time is a flat circle. Time don't mean nothing to me. I can go back and forward in time. Is it my end or is it my beginning? Which I think is some bullshit. Don't try to do that. Like if you're gonna end chapter 2 and say he's done, don't say it's his beginning. Like I think that's stupid, but that's what they're doing. And he's basically like, I should kill you now so that you never have Richie, and then Richie never kills me. And before he can do that, he goes to eat her. And before he can do that, he freezes. And we find out that we realize he's freezing because Hallorann has they're like, hey, the only thing we can do is try to get him at his own game. So Hallorann goes into its brain and makes him wake up as Bob Gray. And it's so stupid because he wakes up basically as if Bob Gray had only like been found in the woods and brought back to the circus. And they're like, Bob, what's up with you? And Bob's like, I'm a god, don't talk to me like that. And he's like, Bob, you crazy. And they start smacking Bob up because Bob's a little bitch. And Pennywise is in a blender because he's like, I've never had this experience in my life. Like I literally am an alien from another dimension, and you're trying to tell me that this short man is slapping me in my face. But then lo and behold, who comes and ruins everything?
The general.
U.S. military. Are you texting?
No.
Okay. It's just, you know, if you're bored, we could just.
No, I'm not bored. They're telling me my dog.
I'm fucking with you. No, I just looked. I realized I've been talking for 20 minutes, and I looked up. I was like, oh, other people are doing other things. I'm messing with you. So we're almost, and we're at the end though, guys, because Brandon was like, let's do 40 minutes. I said, I don't know how long we're gonna yap for, and now we're here for about 2 hours. So
yes,
the guys are trying to get the dagger back to where it's supposed to be so they can close the circle and Pennywise can't get out. But the military people on site, no announcements, just shoot Daniel in the head and shoot freaking Leroy Hanlon, military, like decorated career war veteran. They shoot him in the leg. And then everybody has a gun and they're trying to do their best, but Pennywise is on one because he realizes that he has to make it out the circle before they block him up. So, oh no, actually, sorry, he's frozen, but because he's and Hallorann's fucking with him, but then they go mess with Hallorann, and when they jostle him, that ruins the vision, and Pennywise the Shining, Pennywise realizes it's him, and he breaks himself out of it. The general, out of some weird fascination. Actually, can you cover this part because you remember what he said?
No, he's going over there to say to Pennywise to be like, "Hey, dog, you free because of me. Like, remember that. I'm letting you free. I'm like, go do whatever the fuck you want to do. Go fuck the whole world up. You good?" And then Pennywise was like, "You smell like a bitch. I remember you."
Literally.
And then he was like, "What you mean?" And he's like, "Yeah, I remember you." And then he changes to the Skeleton Man from the woods from 1908, and then he bites that man, and he dead. And then the rest of the military is like, "What happened with the general? Go check on him." I was like, "You probably shouldn't go check on him." And then Pennywise is trying to head over to get to the kids. And
this is my favorite part, because Pennywise doesn't just head over. Pennywise skips over, because Pennywise is woke. He has no defenders in his lane. He literally skips his way over because he's like, I'm about to fuck these kids up. I'm about to win this battle. Like, he's doing his thing. They eventually see him and shoot at him, but he just has this great scene where he just prances and looks scary as hell coming through the mist. So Leroy starts shooting at him, and eventually gets deadlights from that. Blows his head out, but then he comes back with like a whack-a-mole like type head, clown head, which was kind of which Jack in Box, which was hilarious, objectively hilarious. And so Leroy's like is dead lit, and then Charlotte goes over to check on him, and I'm like, girl, bring your gun, shoot Pennywise and then check on him. But whatever, they have that thing happen. Pennywise realizes he's run out of time, so he starts to go back into like avian form. He turns into like a bat. And Hank has this moment where he goes, oh shit. By the way, Hank's baby is trying to get the dagger to the beach, and Hank, all he can do is gawk and look at this man. I'm like, this father is so useless. So the kids are running the dagger over, but again, they've had to share it because one person can't hold it because the dagger is strong enough to make them not want to take it back home. And so the three of them are running, but like the dagger's fighting them. And then Pennywise is struggling. And then we have like one of the best moments in TV where, if we remember, Hallorann the whole time could see spirits, and then his box got broken open, and then he kind of closed it. He got better at it with like help from Rose, but he's been seeing this the tribal leader who passed away like in the legend, and then he sees Rich, and she's like, go ahead, you can go. You come back soon, but you can go. Go ahead. Be back before the streetlights go on. So Spirit Richie starts running across the ice. And did you have the same moment where I said, Richie was running, I said, fuck you, Pennywise. And Richie goes, fuck you, Pennywise. And flips him off. Great. Did you do that too?
He did the Star Lord.
At the same time, we're like, we all at the same time said, F you, Pennywise, and he does it too. That's just like such in a crazy moment of like so much trauma and like tension that broke the ice. So he runs over behind them, and he's like that extra thing they need, while Pennywise is like closing in on them. That's what they need to like put the dagger back. It recompletes the enclosure. Pennywise is now, I guess, like it stops his physical form from being able to be so far away. So he regresses into the different forms he's been. Then he turns to a ball of light, and he gets like banished back to where he came from. So we know he's not dead. We know he's just stuck for another 27 years, but he's not a problem at the moment. And that's how they win. Mind you, so we've lost Daniel in this. Hanlon has gotten shot, but he's not dead. And when Pennywise goes back, everybody who was deadlighted comes out. Oh, sorry. When Pennywise went under Hallorann, all the kids that had been deadlighted were good. So like everyone got released, including Ingrid. And that's how they save themselves this time around. So epilogue is basically wrapping everything up. Before we do that, though, any thoughts about that ending? Anything else you want to share?
Richie's the man, the best character on the show.
Richie's the man. They gave us a lot of good characters. Because again, like I really love Will, because Will had this thing with his dad. Will said at one point to his dad, "I won't let my friends die," and that was the craziest thing you could have said to a man who just shot his friend and not shoot you. But Will has his moment. Lily has her moments. Like they all grow and become actually low key. They all became better people through this experience, which is a weird thing to say because so many people died. But yeah, so we wrap it up with basically just in no particular order. Hallorann is deciding to go be a cook at a nice restaurant in London. He's going to go try that out. He's like, oh, what trouble can you have in a hotel? And everybody did the Leo DiCaprio thing, like, I know what you mean. You talking about a hotel. I don't think it's not the Overlook or the Stanley yet, but it is a reference to him like starting this new career. The Hanlons were going to move, but then Rose is like, actually, I'm gonna move, so why not just give y'all my farm, because I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, now that my nephew's out, they can handle this shit. I'm done.
Derry is like such a like those towns that look like that look so like cool to me because I love those old school houses.
They do look idyllic. Yeah, they would be so nice if there was no racism. If you could just have that, and I won't get into it though. Yeah, so like nice. They could have a nice life there. And so she's like, well, why don't y'all stay around so this shit don't happen again? Which, mind you, we all know it happens again, so I don't have time for this. And then also, I think in the books, Will's parents die like terribly, or like they have a bad memory. There's like terrible memory about them, and now like people are saying, well, you can use, yeah, no, also something about like them being on drugs. Like there's some type of lore out there about them that people are saying wherever that comes up, that's Pennywise fucking with the memory of them. Which is like, that's probably the most unfair part, is that he can take away your memories. So they decide to stay behind and to like help Derry not go through this again. Veronica and her daddy get off. Thank God they go somewhere else. But like they kiss, so we have this cute little thing. But they don't end up together. So that's not the Veronica that is in a pipe in Derry later. We know Richie's gone. Richie has a funeral and he's there, and Hallorann is able to tell them like, oh, Richie, your son is here. He's at peace. And I think that comes up, like that sets them up for a great show about Hallorann, and from here to the Overlook, and him getting to a point of like, how does he help people with his shining, right? Because like people need help with this, and he kind of has like his moment to yeah, he can just help people with this. So there is that. So like the Hanlons stay around, Rogans are there. Lily, she finally goes to say goodbye to her dad because she never wanted to visit him and his memory at the cemetery. Marge is like, well, I guess I gotta have a son and name him Richie now. And what other adults are there? I think we kind of, who knows? We don't get any follow up on the military and what they're going to do about it. It does seem like everything's going to just like kind of go back to normal as long as people don't tell the world. And then we go, because the Deadlights have been eliminated. Ingrid is now in the same institution she used to use against kids to get them to Pennywise. And we see her music soothes her, which I don't know if that's important. And then we see her 26 years later, so right before the next cycle, and she hears screaming down the hall, and we go in, and it's Eiflin, what's this woman's name? Elfrida Marsh, Beverly Marsh's mother, has died, and it's the abusive dad crying, and Beverly from the movies, they got the actress, Beverly is there, and Ingrid walks in and says some weird shit. She says, you know what they say about Derry? No one who dies here ever really dies. Mind you, I've never heard them say that about Derry before. Like, that didn't come up at all in the show. So it's just like the weirdest.
Yeah, it came up in
like,
the
there's so many things she can say about Derry. Yeah, okay, there we go. Because I'm like, I get that they're connecting it to something, but they didn't really allude to this very well. Like, there's so many things you could have said about Derry. But anyway, yeah, and then this, I did look this up.
She says that line in the movies to Beverly later on in part 2. Ingrid does. Well, Ingrid at that point was being played by Pennywise.
Right, but then okay. Oh, so let's like tying that together, I guess. It's just an interesting, because I don't remember any of the movies, by the way. I forgot all the shit. So I couldn't tie it into anything else. But I think that they obviously did, like you said, they set this up to go. It should flow into chapter 1 and chapter 2. It should flow into whatever prequel, sequel they do from here. It's a really good use of the text, and like they kept a lot of stuff true to text, and then they remix stuff or whatever, but like it all still fits. I thought it was a great show because of the many Black leads in it, the Black stories, the way that they talked about the duality of being Black back then. Like, we got so much more context and like feeling, and also characters just being be themselves and just happening to be Black, which also is the mark of a good Black show. And so anyway, I don't know how to explain it. I don't think I converted you, but basically, because Pennywise was so funny, and because the kills were so epic, and because most of the people in the town were so trash, people just kind of started to be like, Pennywise is hilarious. Let's adopt
him. It sounds like a bunch of people who just
guys.
didn't watch the movie. Is what I'm guessing.
No, I've watched the movie. I think like the movie came out pre-pandemic. So like I think it's not fresh on most people's minds. And if it is fresh on your mind or not, you still don't want to go watch it until you watch this because you know it's a prequel. So why would you go watch that to ruin this, right? So I think people will watch it again and we'll stop liking him at that point. But right now, we are enjoying P Money and P Wise and him doing his thing. There's a lot of social media stuff going on right now. I just wanted to again thank Petty Gibbs and Kayla McCoy and Dapper Dan for being in the chat today because we did a random third stream this week, but we hope you guys appreciate it. I'm just trying to see if there's any other comments. Yeah, people were like going back and forth debating about like some people are like, I hate all the choices the black characters made, and people are like, oh, y'all going too far. But people could agree that Hank was the worst. The talk about race and just the importance of that was like very prevalent. People love this show. People are getting people to go watch it after the fact. And then Petty Gibbs wanted to say you got to spotlight the native lady and all of them sensing Richie coming. Hallorann's facing Richie. He already seen dead people, but he was shocked and he called it a mother effing miracle. That's true. So just to rewind a little bit, like Hallorann has seen all these times when dead people are just like not at peace and they're angry and they want to get a message or they're just upset. And Richie was like such a calming, like just amazing character because he only popped up to be like, hey, let my niggas know I'm good, we good, they good, I got their back. So beautiful rendition of him. That actor is going to do well. Like you said, a little mini Ricky Ricardo. Will Hanlon had the actor who did him has a lot of range to go. And yeah, I would love to see some type of, I know they're clearly going to go into prequel. I would love to see more Dick Hallorann and more telling that story because I think they did that very well. Any other thoughts on Welcome to Derry? Welcome to the D? No. That's what they need to call it. Welcome to the D. You're not feeling that? Okay, well, hey, Brandon, it's okay. You know, all black content is not for all black people. And so if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to like it. You can like the stuff you like. You can like Seinfeld.
I love the show.
That's for you.
I didn't say anything was wrong with the show. I said, I don't know why y'all rooting for Pennywise. Y'all sound like bad people to me. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, take it where we can get it.
I choose not to root for people who eat children. Silly me. Silly me.
Yeah, that is pretty silly. That's very silly of you. But anyway, yeah, I'm Penny Gang. I'm with it. I think he's hilarious, and as long as he keeps just being funny as fuck, like it's just kind of giving a Freddy Krueger vibe. Like, they made him funnier than I don't remember him being as funny as Freddy Krueger before. They made him funnier.
No, he's funny like that the entire time.
They made him funnier. They made him funnier. Okay, so does this mean that we literally just did 2 hours?
2 hours and 30 minutes. Hours? Yes.
Do you think that's fair for 8 hours of show?
No, but you were great, so it was worth it.
Thanks. I mean, also you wanted to debate race. You wanted to debate whether or not the general was racist, so that probably was at least an hour. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, guys, you got a mega stream from us. You're welcome. We will be back very soon to talk about Fallout and Pluribus. We are very excited about those. We just thought that the culture needed our Black Ass podcast to talk about Pennywise. And thanks for being here. So you've been listening to the We Was Watching podcast, the show for blurs and baddies to recap sci-fi, fantasy, Stephen King novels, and the politics in between. I'm Chanel. This is your other host, Brandon. You can find us at socials at We Was Watching or email wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts on anything. We'll read them when we talk about that particular show. We would love to read your reviews, and if they are 5 stars, we will read them on the show. If they are less than 5 stars, we will disregard them. Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you guys so much. I don't know. I think I just really got excited about this because we really just kind of we went on a tangent here, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know there's somebody out there who's gonna be hype about 2.5 hours, and this is for you. We're gonna save our what we've been on for next time, if that's okay.
For tomorrow.
Until then, oh my god, did we say we're gonna do it tomorrow?
Yeah, follow us out right now.
Fuck. Oh shit. Okay. Well, anyway, so until next time, we was watching. If we was watching is watching it, then you should be watching it with us. And that's the new outro.